Clink out of Canada. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
What'd you say?
Clint.
Clint. Yeah, there you go.
My bad, man. I have a new I have a new phone screener, and who shall remain anonymous. And he spelled it Clink. Sorry, Clint. Good to hear from you, man.
It's okay. Yeah, I was just your comment on, you said journalists over in the Middle East and the East being they're tortured and they're being captured and them being liberal do-gooders. I'm just wondering, where did you get that information from?
Well, I just happen to know that most journalists are liberal, and I think I was referring to liberals and do-gooders, right? So, the do-gooder was more I was speaking more about the humanitarian woman, Kayla Mueller, who was killed. She was a liberal do-gooder. And I was referring to the humanitarian thing. But the journalists, journalists do tend to be liberal. They tend to be brainwashed and educated. And by educated, I mean brainwashed, indoctrinated. So sometimes they cast things like in liberal light. They don't really see things as clearly, even though they are on the ground, so-called, and taking the pictures and stuff like that. So I appreciate their work. There's a lot of honest journalists who are doing good work, and there are some liberal,
especially when they're going into a war zone.
Yeah, right.
So,
but
I just don't get that. That every journalist over there is a liberal.
I didn't say every, but I just said most journalists are.
Yeah,
and so I looked into.
You and your buddy there say it all the time. Not all, but most.
Right.
But
you don't know that most journalists are liberal?
How do you know? How do I know?
You don't know that?
Liberals, there's conservatives.
No,
aren't the Fox News journalists more conservative?
Some maybe, I don't know. A lot of them are liberals.
See, there you go. So you don't know. You just said.
No, but you're the ones who. So you're telling me that you don't know that most journalists are liberal. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know people.
No, you should look into it. Most journalists are liberals. It's just reality, man.
You think that most journalists?
It's not. I think I know it.
There's not a high percentage.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
And people and then humanitarians, people that go over to believe in something that they think is right.
Yeah.
And they get killed for it, and you're calling them do-gooders, and you're calling them.
It's what they are, man.
They're wasting their time. And
in some cases, probably. In some cases, probably, man.
Do-gooder?
Say that again.
And you're not being a conservative do-gooder?
I don't know what I'm being, but I'm talking about. Why are you going after me for this? We're talking about them.
I'm not. I'm just wondering where you're getting all this from.
It's very common knowledge that most so-called journalists are liberals. It's very common knowledge. So for you not to know that is pretty shocking. It's pretty shocking that you don't know that.
No, it's not about not knowing what political side they're on.
Yes, it is. That's what I brought up. And why are you complaining about me bringing it up?
I'm just wondering where you're getting this information from.
You can look around for it. I think that I saw in Bill O'Reilly's recent book that 10% of so-called journalists. Hey, hold on. You can laugh all you want because that's not a valid argument for you to laugh at that. Because it makes you a fake. He's not a valid person. Yes, he is a valid source.
What?
He's a journalist. He's an honest journalist.
He's a journalist.
Now you're just a mocker, Clint.
Clint,
are you a liberal or a conservative?
I'm not anything.
You're a liberal. You're a liberal.
I could care less.
What are you listening to this show for, Clint?
Why?
How'd you hear the show? How'd you hear the show? How'd you hear the show?
Oh, I got a buddy of mine that's all into you guys there, and he showed me a video, and I was like, oh man.
Oh, right on.
These guys are out to left field.
Appreciate you tuning in. So I was telling you, and you started laughing and mocking. that I saw in a Bill O'Reilly book.
And you guys don't do that.
That's fine, but let me finish. Let me finish my statement, man. Bill O'Reilly. This is radio, so we have to like have a back and forth. So Bill O'Reilly cited in his book, in a recent book, that 10% of journalists are registered Republicans. 10%. Yes, it is a high percentage of liberal journalists, and you can see it come through very plainly when you read AP. They're female feminist activists. They're pro-transgender LGBT crap. They won't call illegal aliens illegal aliens. They stopped that in like 2013 or 2014. They won't call things what they are. They'll refer to the transgenders by the so-called preferred pronoun. So they live in a false imaginary world. So that tells you that they're liberals. And then, yes, in many cases, these people who go across the country or across the world and do journalists in war zones and things, sometimes they maybe don't need to be doing that. There may be something wrong with them for them to make that decision. Maybe not all. Some of them are doing good work, right? And then these do-gooders like Kayla Mueller, maybe she didn't need to be over there. Maybe she was just being a do-gooder because there's a lot of liberals that have this imitation morality, right? Where they go and help people, but they're not really helping people. They're just helping their own ego. They're maybe helping on a physical sense, but you don't always have to be doing that, right? And so in some cases, these people were misguided by going over there in the first place, I think. I mean, it's just common sense for you to go to that extreme and do that. Yeah.
Man, I get your point.
Yeah.
Yes, but why do people go and do anything? Why?
Sometimes
do people do anything?
Sometimes very good reasons, sometimes not so good reasons.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
this woman thought it was a very good reason to go out and do something good. And yes, it cost her life.
Yeah.
There is that,
It's not necessarily even disrespectful, man. It's just calling it what it is. It's like a do-gooder mentality.
Do-gooder mentality.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing over there?
We're
your bond. Your
bond is for
you're getting young people
right.
to be good, right?
Yeah.
So like you're calling a spade here. You know?
That's racist. You can't say call a spade a spade.
Oh my God.
That came from spade used to be another word for N-word. I'm just playing around with you, man. But I mean it's not like I'm not okay, so let's say me. I speak very frankly about the black community, and some of them don't like that, right? If I get beat up for that.
If I was black and I seen you on the street.
Right. Yeah, that type of thing. That is let's call that a risk that I took by speaking very plainly about the black community, right?
Oh my God, you live in America. These people are going to like a war zone.
I know.
You live in America. You're fine.
I know. No, but listen, there is a you may not be familiar with this either, but there is a high percentage of black on white crime versus the other way around. But you're right. You're right. I'm in a relatively safe place, not in a war zone. But that's because I'm sane enough not to go to a war zone. You know, I thought at one point I thought about joining the military. I was like, it was after college, right? Because I had thought about it in freshman year of high school. But after college, like I was like working, but I was kind of aimless, and I was like, 2008 or so. Oh, maybe I should join the military. It was a suggestion from a girl. And then so she had been in the military. And then so like I started training a little bit. I was going to be
you took a suggestion from
I went through
a girl.
MEPS. Yeah, I went through MEPS, which is something. And then so like I was going to be like a Marine officer, right? But then I woke up one morning and I'm like, I don't want to die or lose a limb or something. And so I got out of that. I'm like, no, that's not sane. Plus Obama was going to be the so-called commander-in-chief. And so that was a bad idea.
Another thing too. Why is it always like someone else's fault?
What's that?
Like, why is it? Well, I didn't join the military because of Obama. So like you knew right away. You knew right away that the Obama administration would be terrible.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
When
I mean, it was
right
very.
when it's not even right when it didn't even start. You knew.
You knew the
just
type
knew.
of person that he was. You knew the type of
You
person he was. He was weak, a liberal, and those people tend to bring on the worst things. It was the Obama administration that brought us ISIS. Obama and Hillary.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
wasn't.
Yeah.
That started way back in the 80s when the Russians invaded Afghanistan.
You can trace different things, but Obama left a vacuum in Iraq, and he armed ISIS. He and Hillary were arming ISIS.
No, that was.
Yeah, they were. They were arming ISIS.
That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
You can laugh that all off, but the fact is, Obama brought ISIS to the forefront. They wouldn't have become as successful as they were had America not done the mistakes that they made.
No, Jesus. Go read Ghost Wars. Go read Ghost Wars.
See, now you're just not giving me a real thing. You're not giving me a real argument. I gotta go, Clint. Nice talking with you.
Because just go read something.
Okay, appreciate the tip. Appreciate the tip, man.
There you go. Okay, all right. I'm not giving you anything. Okay, bye.
Take care. No, it's just I have to go. Sorry about that, Clint. We'll talk again, hopefully. He's Canadian. He's a liberal.